If you've ever felt that quiet ache when she laughs with you but never leans in, listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you may unsettle you. I'm a psychologist, and I need you to hear this. Before we go any further, subscribe to this channel and like this video, because the truths you're about to learn can change how you see women and how you see yourself. Many men are told that when a woman calls you just a friend, it's over. That's a comforting lie. In reality, when a woman is hiding attraction, her behavior becomes more controlled, not more distant. One of the first subtle behaviors is restraint. She holds back compliments that sit on the tip of her tongue. She edits her messages twice before sending them, not because she doesn't feel anything, but because she feels too much. Attraction creates risk, and women are aware of emotional consequences. You'll notice she asks questions about your past that don't serve small talk. She wants to understand how you attach, how you love, and how you leave. This isn't curiosity, it's emotional reconnaissance. When a woman feels nothing, she doesn't investigate your inner world. When she feels too much, she studies it. Pay attention to her timing. She doesn't always reply fast, yet she almost always replies thoughtfully. This push and pull isn't manipulation, it's self-regulation. She's trying to keep herself from revealing what she hasn't decided she's allowed to want. Men often misread this as disinterest, but psychologically, indifference is effortless. Control is not. Another sign is subtle protection. She defends you when others criticize you, even lightly. She remembers details you never thought were important. These behaviors come from emotional investment. The brain doesn't store data about people it feels neutral toward. Watch how she reacts to other women around you. If she becomes quieter, more observant, or slightly withdrawn, that's not boredom, that's comparison. A woman who feels nothing doesn't compare herself to potential rivals. A woman who feels something does it unconsciously. Here is the truth most men were never taught. Women don't hide attraction because they're cruel or confused. They hide it because attraction makes them vulnerable. If you're being treated like a friend, but the energy feels charged, slower, heavier, it's because something is being contained, not absent. And once you understand this, you stop chasing validation and start observing reality. There is another behavior most men overlook because it doesn't look romantic on the surface. It looks responsible. When a woman is secretly attracted, she often creates rules around you. She tells herself what she should and shouldn't do. She avoids being alone with you for too long, or she frames it as something practical. This isn't because she feels safe with you, it's because she doesn't trust herself around you. Notice how she talks about relationships in your presence. She may downplay her desire for one, or claim she's not looking for anything serious. This is not a confession of emotional emptiness. It's a defense. When feelings are hidden, people often minimize them verbally to keep them manageable internally. Words become a way to stay in control. Another subtle behavior is emotional mirroring. She starts to align her mood with yours. If you're calm, she calms. If you're excited, she becomes animated. This synchronization isn't friendship, it's bonding. The nervous system doesn't mirror someone it feels indifferent toward. It mirrors someone it's attuning to. She also tests you without appearing to. She brings up hypothetical situations. What would you do if someone close to you moved away? Do you believe people can stay friends after feelings? These aren't random questions. They're safe ways to measure your emotional depth, your loyalty, and your boundaries. A woman hiding attraction wants to know if you're safe before she ever lets herself want you fully. You may notice she shares vulnerabilities with you that don't fit a casual friendship. Moments of doubt, quiet fears, old disappointments. She doesn't dramatize them. She slips them into conversation and watches how you respond. That's because attraction, especially hidden attraction, seeks emotional safety before physical expression. Here's the part men misunderstand most. When she pulls back slightly after a deep moment, that's not rejection. That's recovery. Emotional closeness activates attachment systems. Pulling back is how she restores balance, so she doesn't reveal too much too fast. A woman who truly sees you only as a friend doesn't need to regulate herself around you. She's relaxed, consistent, and unguarded. A woman who is secretly attracted is careful. Care is not disinterest. Care is investment with fear attached. If you learn to recognize this, you stop asking, "Why is she confusing?" and start asking, what is she protecting? Because people don't protect what they don't value. One of the most revealing behaviors appears in moments of silence. When a woman is hiding deep attraction, she doesn't rush to fill every gap in conversation with noise. She lets silence stretch, but she stays present. That quiet is not awkward for her. It's charged. Silence becomes a place where feelings surface and she's aware of it. If she felt nothing, she'd distract herself. Instead, she stays. Watch her body language when she thinks you're not paying attention. The way her posture subtly turns toward you. The way her feet angle in your direction, even when her words don't. The human body betrays what the mind tries to manage. Attraction shows up in orientation long before it shows up in confession. She also remembers the version of you were on your worst day, not to judge, but to understand. A woman hiding feelings pays attention to your emotional patterns. She notices when your tone changes. She senses when you're holding something back. This sensitivity isn't random. It's emotional attunement, and it doesn't happen without interest. Another subtle behavior is selective honesty. She doesn't tell you everything, but what she does tell you is unusually real. She avoids surface-level drama, yet opens up about values, regrets, and personal growth. This is how she builds intimacy without crossing a line she's not ready to cross. You might notice she reacts strongly, emotionally, when she believes you're pulling away. She may not confront you directly, but her energy shifts. She becomes quieter, more serious, or slightly distant. This is not manipulation. It's attachment anxiety surfacing quietly. Indifference doesn't react to loss. Hidden attraction does. Here's something most men don't realize. When a woman hides her feelings, she often elevates you in subtle ways. She seeks your opinion. She trusts your judgment. She values your presence during moments that matter. This is not how women treat men they feel neutral about. She may also emphasize boundaries verbally, while testing closeness emotionally. She says, "We're just friends," yet sits closer than necessary. She maintains eye contact a second longer than comfort requires. These contradictions aren't games. They're internal negotiations between desire and restraint. As a psychologist, I can tell you this with certainty. When attraction is absent, behavior is simple. When attraction is hidden, behavior becomes complex. Complexity is the signal. Confusion is not always a sign of disinterest. Often, it's the sign of a feeling trying to stay unspoken. If you stop trying to decode her words and start observing her patterns, you'll see what she's trying so hard not to reveal. There is a behavior that feels small, almost invisible, yet it carries enormous psychological weight. When a woman is hiding attraction, she becomes unusually aware of how you see her. She adjusts herself around you in subtle ways, not dramatically, not flirtatiously, just enough to be noticed if you're paying attention. Her tone softens. Her humor becomes more thoughtful. This is not performance. This is subconscious alignment with someone whose opinion matters. She may downplay her own desirability in front of you. She jokes about her flaws. She minimizes attention she gets from others. This isn't insecurity the way men assume. It's a way of reducing emotional risk. By lowering the perceived stakes, she feels safer staying close to you without exposing her feelings. Another sign is how she handles your successes. When you achieve something, she doesn't compete. She celebrates you quietly, sincerely, pride without possession. That response comes from admiration mixed with restraint. A woman who feels nothing doesn't emotionally invest in your growth. A woman hiding attraction watches your trajectory closely. Notice how she reacts when you talk about your future, not just relationships, but life, career moves, relocation, long-term goals. Her attention sharpens. She asks follow-up questions. She imagines scenarios with you, even if she never says it out loud. Attraction pulls people into future-oriented thinking. There's also a specific kind of teasing that appears. It's not cruel and it's not sexual. It's intimate. She challenges you lightly. She notices your habits. She calls you out gently. This kind of teasing is bonding behavior. It creates a private emotional language between two people. Like, friendship alone doesn't generate that depth. You might notice she becomes more emotionally expressive when you're not physically present. Longer messages, deeper thoughts, more reflection. Distance makes it easier for her to let feelings leak out safely. Proximity requires control. This pattern is extremely common in hidden attraction. Here is an important truth. Women are taught, directly and indirectly, to manage desire responsibly, to not lead, to not risk rejection, to not disrupt stability. So when a woman feels something she didn't plan to feel, she contains it, she intellectualizes it, she reframes it as friendship, but the body and behavior still speak. If you feel that she's emotionally close, yet behaviorally restrained, that's not mixed signals. That's a woman negotiating between what she feels and what she thinks she should feel. Men who miss this assume passivity is required. Men who understand this remain grounded, calm, and self-directed. They don't push, they don't retreat, they let clarity emerge naturally. Because hidden attraction doesn't need to be chased, it needs to be met with emotional steadiness. Another behavior reveals itself in how she manages emotional distance. When a woman is hiding attraction, she doesn't drift away permanently. She oscillates. She comes close, then pulls back just enough to feel safe again. This rhythm isn't inconsistency, it's regulation. She's trying to experience connection without losing control of herself. You'll notice she becomes especially attentive when you're emotionally steady and less available. Not cold, not distant, simply centered. When you stop seeking reassurance, she often leans in emotionally. That's because hidden attraction is drawn to stability. A woman who is uncertain about her feelings watches how you handle yours. Pay attention to how she listens. Not the words, but the focus. When you speak, she doesn't interrupt to redirect the conversation to herself. She absorbs, she remembers, she brings things up later. This level of listening is rare, and it's not friendship-driven, it's attachment-driven. The mind prioritizes what the heart values. Another subtle sign appears when she talks about other men. She keeps it vague, she doesn't give details, or she mentions them in a way that feels emotionally empty. This isn't secrecy, it's compartmentalization. When attraction is hidden, other options lose emotional relevance, even if they still exist socially. You may also notice that she seeks you during moments of emotional transition, after a long day, during uncertainty, when she needs clarity. She doesn't necessarily ask for advice. She wants your presence. That choice is rarely conscious, but it's deeply telling. The nervous system seeks regulation from those it feels bonded to. Here's something important. When a woman is only a friend, she feels free to be inconsistent emotionally. When she is secretly attracted, she becomes careful with your emotional experience. She doesn't want to hurt you. She doesn't want to mislead you. That ethical concern comes from emotional investment, not neutrality. She might also challenge you to grow subtly, encouraging better habits, asking reflective questions, supporting your self-improvement. This isn't maternal behavior, it's partnership-oriented thinking emerging beneath the surface. Attraction doesn't just desire, it envisions potential. Many men misinterpret restraint as lack of desire, but psychologically, desire often increases restraint. The more something matters, the more carefully it's handled. When nothing is at stake, behavior is loose. When something is at stake, behavior tightens. If you feel that she treats you with care, attention, and emotional respect, but never quite crosses the line, that's not an accident. That's a woman holding something valuable and waiting to see if it's safe to let it exist. Your role is not to pressure that moment into happening. Your role is to remain emotionally solid, self-directed, and observant. Because hidden attraction doesn't respond to force, it responds to safety. There is a final layer most men never see, because it requires patience instead of action. When a woman is hiding deep attraction, she watches how you handle power. Not dominance, not control, but emotional power. How you respond when she sets a boundary. How you react when plans change. How you behave when things don't go your way. This is where hidden attraction either deepens or dissolves. You'll notice she becomes more honest after you demonstrate emotional maturity. If you don't pressure her, guilt her, or withdraw affection, she relaxes. Her guard lowers. She starts sharing thoughts she previously filtered. This isn't coincidence. It's trust being earned quietly. Another subtle behavior appears in how she prioritizes you. She doesn't always make it obvious, but she adjusts her schedule in small ways. She checks in when she doesn't have to. She creates reasons to stay connected without framing them as emotional needs. This is attraction, trying to stay socially acceptable while remaining close. Watch how she reacts when you express interest in someone else, calmly and without provocation. A woman hiding feelings won't lash out. She won't compete openly. Instead, her energy shifts. She becomes more introspective, sometimes quieter, sometimes warmer. That internal reaction reveals more than words ever could. She may also hold you to a higher standard than others. She notices when you're not being authentic. She senses when you're playing a role. This isn't criticism, it's disappointment mixed with care. We only expect consistency from people who matter to us. Here is something important. When attraction is hidden, it often lives in the future, not the present. She imagines what could happen, then pulls herself back to now. That creates moments where she seems deeply connected, then suddenly practical. That's not confusion, that's internal self-protection. She may frame your connection as rare or different without defining it. Language becomes vague when feelings are precise but unexpressed. She knows it matters. She's just not ready to name it. As a psychologist, I want you to understand this clearly. You don't reveal hidden attraction by demanding clarity. You reveal it by being consistent, grounded, and emotionally safe over time. People open when they feel they won't be rushed or punished for honesty. If you sense that she's watching, listening, adjusting, and caring in ways that exceed friendship, trust that perception. Men are often taught to doubt their intuition in relationships. But intuition exists to detect patterns before words arrive. Hidden attraction doesn't announce itself loudly. It waits, and it watches who you are when you think nothing is happening. And in those moments, everything is happening. The final behavior is the quietest, and that's why it's the most powerful. When a woman is hiding deep attraction, she gives you emotional permission. She allows you to be fully yourself around her, not impressive, not entertaining, not guarded, just real. She doesn't shame your doubts. She doesn't mock your ambitions. She holds space for your complexity. This is not friendship. This is intimacy without a label. You'll notice she feels safest when you are calm in yourself. Not chasing outcomes, not trying to impress, just grounded. That state makes her nervous system settle. Hidden attraction doesn't want drama. It wants stability. It can rest inside. When she feels that with you, her attachment deepens quietly. She also stops trying to define you to others. She doesn't box you into a role. She lets you evolve. That's because on some level, she's imagining you as a long-term presence, not a fixed category. People only grant that freedom to those they value deeply. Another sign appears when time passes and the connection doesn't fade. Attraction based on novelty burns fast. Hidden attraction endures. Months go by and the bond doesn't weaken. If anything, it becomes more nuanced, more layered. Emotional endurance is one of the strongest indicators of real feeling. You may notice she becomes emotionally honest in moments of vulnerability. Not dramatic confessions, but quiet admissions. I trust you. I feel comfortable with you. I don't usually open up like this. These statements are not casual. They are carefully chosen because she feels something she's not ready to fully expose. Here's the truth most men need to hear. If a woman truly saw you only as a friend, you would never feel this tension. You would never sense depth beneath restraint. You would never question her energy. Emotional neutrality feels flat. What you're feeling is weight. The mistake many men make is trying to force a revelation. They push for clarity too soon, or they withdraw out of pride. Both break the spell. Hidden attraction needs time, safety, and consistency to surface naturally. Your strength is not in extracting a confession. Your strength is in being the kind of man whose presence makes honesty feel safe. When that happens, she won't need to hide. She won't need to regulate. She won't need to protect herself from what she feels. And when she finally allows herself to want you openly, it won't feel sudden, it will feel inevitable. Because the truth is, she's been showing you all along, you just needed to know how to see it.